Commissioner Gordon. Bane has escaped.
The loudest storms begin in silence. The progress that truly shifts the ground beneath your life starts quietly, unnoticed by those who live for attention. You learn quickly that noise attracts opinions, and opinions breed hesitation. The wise build where no one is watching. They understand that the moment you broadcast intention, you invite resistance. Silence, then, becomes a strategy. You work in rooms with no applause, shaping foundations while others chase recognition. The results, when they arrive like thunder, sudden to the world but long prepared by patience. The art lies in letting your work speak the language that words cannot. Those who move quietly are not hiding, they are fortifying. Discipline thrives in quiet rooms. When there are no spectators, effort becomes pure. You stop performing and start building. The absence of validation filters out the weak motives, leaving only the drive that endures when no one claps. You begin to appreciate stillness as the true companion of creation. Silence allows you to hear the rhythm of your own persistence. The brain, undistracted, enters a different gear where clarity sharpens and vision expands. Those who speak of their dreams often exhaust their energy in describing them. Those who protect their dreams pour that energy into execution. The difference between fantasy and legacy is how much of your progress you can keep private. There is a strange power in withholding motion. When you stop broadcasting your effort, your energy stops leaking. You notice how focus thickens. Attention becomes currency again. Every hour feels heavier because it has purpose. Silence transforms from emptiness into concentration. The quiet amplifies detail, the way a craftsman polishes the same edge until perfection appears. The process demands solitude not as punishment, but as refinement. You don't need the world to validate your progress because you're too busy embodying it. What begins unseen becomes unstoppable. The loudest moves are made by those who no longer need to announce them. In the quiet, you begin to understand tempo. Not every motion needs speed. Some require precision. You learn that rushing is noise in disguise, panic dressed as productivity. True growth has a slower heartbeat. It expands from consistency, not chaos. The silence teaches rhythm, and rhythm breeds endurance. When everyone else is sprinting toward visibility, you are walking toward mastery. That is how quiet work creates seismic outcomes. You move without seeking permission. You progress without external fuel. When the moment comes to reveal what you've built, it feels effortless, because it has been carved one deliberate stroke at a time. Those who crave attention are fragile, because their progress depends on perception. The silent builder draws power from obscurity. You use the darkness as cover while you assemble what the world will one day call brilliance. There's no need to convince anyone because proof does not argue. It appears. Every sleepless night, every repetition, every quiet victory becomes stored energy waiting for release. The reveal always feels sudden to outsiders, but to you it's inevitable. They think it happened overnight, but they never saw the 1,000 quiet nights that built it. Noise gets forgotten, silence writes history. You learn to measure your day by effort, not applause. The work that nobody notices is what forges your edge. Attention fades faster than results, so you train your mind to detach from recognition. You build in private, because it's the only place you can experiment without judgment. Silence becomes your laboratory. Every failure happens behind closed doors, away from critics. Every refinement happens in solitude until precision replaces error. By the time the world sees your progress, it's already too late for them to catch up. They'll analyze your success, but they'll never replicate your silence. Stillness has a way of magnifying truth. When you stop chasing noise, You start hearing your intuition. You begin to understand what's worth your energy and what's designed to drain it. In that awareness, you make sharper decisions. Every move becomes intentional. You stop reacting and start orchestrating. This composure becomes your advantage. Others burn out explaining themselves while you conserve your fire for execution. In silence, you find control, not of others, but of yourself. That control compounds. It turns into consistency, and consistency turns into results loud enough to echo across years. Every great story of transformation begins in a hidden chapter. The warrior trains before dawn. The artist sketches in the dark. The thinker rewrites the same sentence 100 times before releasing it. All success begins unseen, because greatness cannot be built in distraction. The solitude is not isolation, it's incubation. The mind grows sharper when it's unobserved. You start to realize that you don't need to announce your work, because every second you stay quiet, the gap widens between you and those who crave validation. The results, when revealed, speak in a language louder than praise: permanence. The difference between ordinary and extraordinary is often found in what happens when nobody is watching. Most people crumble without validation because they never learn to self-sustain. You learn that silence is not emptiness, it is a forge. Every day spent in quiet pursuit adds another layer of durability to your mind. You stop fearing invisibility because you realize its protection. The world cannot attack what it cannot see. You start understanding that control of exposure is control of power. By staying silent, you dictate the timing of your revelation. That is how legends are born, not announced, but discovered. When you speak your intentions, your brain rewards you as if the work were already done. That rush of satisfaction tricks you into believing progress has been made. You start mistaking discussion for discipline. Talking about your vision releases dopamine, the same chemical released by action itself. It's biological betrayal disguised as motivation. You share your goals, people applaud, and that applause becomes a substitute for progress. The reward arrives too early, and the fire that should drive your execution starts burning out. Those who master silence understand this trap. They don't chase the chemical illusion of progress. They chase reality. They withhold words until the work makes them unnecessary. When a plan becomes public too soon, it begins to decay. The moment others know, pressure replaces purpose. Their opinions infiltrate your drive, diluting the purity of intent. Each comment, question, or doubt plants hesitation in your subconscious. The brain begins optimizing for approval instead of execution. Talking transfers energy outward. Silence directs it inward. Those who protect their ideas like secrets preserve their energy like currency. They don't reveal, they reinforce. They let momentum build behind closed doors where no one can interrupt it. The public never sees the process because distraction kills precision. Most people confuse accountability with attention. They believe speaking their goals aloud will keep them committed. But what it really does is make them accountable to perception rather than performance. They start performing progress for the audience that now expects it. Their effort becomes theater. Their drive becomes diluted by validation. Silence removes the audience and restores the mission. You become your own witness, your own critic, your own motivator. The energy that would have been spent defending your goals now goes toward achieving them. The applause you crave will eventually come, but it will arrive at the right time, when the work is finished. The mind treats anticipation as achievement. The more vividly you describe what you're going to do, the more the brain rewards you chemically. That's why people love sharing visions. They feel productive without moving an inch. The dopamine rush feels identical to execution, so motivation vanishes before effort begins. You talk enough about a dream, and your brain logs it as done. Silence keeps the reward system honest. You starve the brain of premature satisfaction, so it must earn the high through work. The fewer words you speak, the more drive remains. That is why the quiet ones outlast everyone else. Public plans die in public because attention kills focus. The mind can only channel so much energy, and every explanation drains a little more. The act of telling others about your progress creates accountability to their expectations, not your standards. They will begin to measure your worth by results you have yet to produce. Their impatience becomes your anxiety. Silence solves that. You move unseen, free from timelines and judgment. You answer only to the mission, not the noise. When you succeed, the surprise multiplies the impact. People see the result and mistake it for overnight success, unaware it was silence that kept the flame alive long enough to deliver it. There is power in delayed validation. When you work privately, you remove the temptation of approval. You stop feeding on reactions and start feeding on results. Each small win becomes your secret. Each act of effort becomes personal evidence of progress. This internal reinforcement is stronger than external praise. You don't need people to believe in you because you believe through proof. Silence gives you control of reward timing. The brain learns to associate dopamine not with talking, but with finishing. That shift changes everything. Your satisfaction moves from intention to completion, and that is where transformation begins. The quiet path demands a different kind of confidence. It requires faith in the unseen, belief that the hours you invest will one day echo loudly enough to silence every doubt. When you talk, you borrow that echo too soon. When you stay silent, you earn it. Every step taken in solitude compounds into credibility. You don't defend your ambition because you're too busy living it. Those who move in silence don't need to be believed in. They are too occupied becoming undeniable. That's the secret chemistry of progress. Effort without audience, movement without noise. You learn that momentum is fragile. It thrives on concentration and dies in exposure. The more people know, the more interference you invite. Opinions, comparisons, advice, all disrupt the mental frequency you need to stay locked in. Silence acts as armor. It preserves clarity. It keeps your focus from scattering across the judgments of others. The more private your mission, the more intimate your connection to it becomes. You begin to understand that protecting your process is not secrecy, it's self-preservation. You are guarding your dopamine like a resource, saving every drop for the finish line. Execution is spiritual when no one knows you're doing it. The mind quiets, the ego fades, and the work becomes pure. No eyes, no pressure, no expectation, just the act itself. That's where mastery begins. The craftsman doesn't talk about the sculpture while it's being carved. The builder doesn't narrate every brick. They emerge when the creation stands tall enough to speak for itself. Talking scatters your power. Silence channels it into precision. The world only deserves to see what you've already proven to yourself. Until then, you remain a ghost, visible only through outcome. Knowledge loses power the moment it seeks validation. The ones who move with quiet confidence understand this truth better than anyone. They know that silence multiplies impact because it creates uncertainty in others. When you know more and say less, you shift the balance of control. People begin to fill the silence with their own projections, and those projections often reveal more about them than you ever could through words. In life, as in markets, the one who speaks less reveals less risk. Silence becomes a form of positioning, not passive but tactical. It lets others expose their intentions while you stay unreadable. Power lives in ambiguity, and silence is its sharpest weapon. The economy of attention rewards those who can withhold. The loud expend energy trying to prove competence, while the silent preserve energy and control the tempo. Every word you don't say compounds into advantage. Silence is not emptiness, it's a psychological mirror that reflects the insecurities of others. In a negotiation, in a room, or in a relationship, those who can sit comfortably in the quiet create discomfort in everyone else. The mind abhors uncertainty, and silence forces others to fill that void, often to their own detriment. You gain leverage not by overpowering people, but by allowing their imagination to do the work for you. In markets, this principle is lethal. The quiet trader observes before striking. He reads the herd's emotion, not its noise. The loud trader moves impulsively, broadcasting conviction, bleeding information into the system. The silent one accumulates knowledge and waits. Information asymmetry favors patience. Those who know when to stay still control the narrative, because silence allows observation without interference. The less you speak, the more you see. And when the moment arrives, one precise action replaces 1,000 empty opinions. Markets reward timing, not volume. Life does too. The art of silence is misunderstood. People think it's submission when it's actually positioning. Silence creates gravity. It draws others toward you because they want to understand what you're thinking. Every unspoken thought becomes a riddle, and people naturally fear what they cannot predict. This unpredictability becomes leverage. When you speak, they assess. When you don't, they assume. And assumption is the most exploitable human weakness. Control is rarely taken by force. It's often surrendered through overexposure. The one who speaks least always appears to know most. In conversations, silence slows time. It stretches the moment, allowing you to study reactions, measure emotion, and reveal character. Words can disguise insecurity, but silence unmasks it. The more you practice restraint, the clearer you see others' patterns. Most people cannot handle unbroken quiet. They rush to fill it. In doing so, they give away information, motives, and weaknesses. Silence becomes reconnaissance. Every pause is data. You don't need to win arguments when you've already collected the truth between their words. Control in life, much like in the market, belongs to those who manage perception. The fewer details you reveal, the more others overestimate your depth. Mystery magnifies power. In a world addicted to exposure, the one who withholds becomes magnetic. People confuse your silence for superiority, your patience for mastery. They interpret your reserve as confidence, even when it's simply discipline. That illusion becomes influence. You learn that you never have to shout to be heard. You just have to make people wonder what you're thinking. Leverage begins where transparency ends. You don't hide truth, you ration it. You speak only what's necessary, only when it serves the mission. Everything else remains unspoken, protected like currency. The wise treat information like capital. It must compound before it's spent. The fool broadcasts it before it matures. When you speak less, you retain control over context, timing, and consequence. Every word becomes intentional. Every silence becomes strategy. You're not avoiding communication, you're mastering it. In a loud world, silence becomes rebellion. When everyone else performs identity through constant expression, you regain individuality through restraint. You don't need to prove that you know. Knowing is enough. Silence separates the thinkers from the talkers, the builders from the announcers. Each quiet action becomes louder in its results because it doesn't compete with noise. Those who know less shout for recognition. Those who know more listen for signals. That's the split between the impulsive and the powerful. To control outcomes, you must first control disclosure. The disciplined mind knows when to share and when to stay invisible. Silence protects your edge. It gives you time to process information while others are still reacting. In stillness, you can see the full board, not just the current move. You start to notice how predictable people become when they talk too much. Every word is a breadcrumb leading to their strategy. Meanwhile, you remain unreadable, untouchable, unprovoked. That is the nature of true leverage, unseen but always felt. Beginnings demand protection. When an idea is fresh, it lives on fragile energy, delicate, unstable, alive only because you feed it. Early momentum is a flicker in a storm. The slightest gust of opinion can extinguish it. People often make the mistake of revealing too soon, mistaking exposure for validation. But once you invite voices in, you lose control of the frequency. Their words start echoing inside your focus. Doubt seeps in where silence should have guarded you. What was once pure becomes polluted by expectation. A vision shared too early becomes a democracy of distraction. Hide your progress until it can withstand criticism. Early silence isn't secrecy, it's incubation. Momentum, like wet cement, needs time to harden. Each quiet repetition adds structure, each unnoticed act builds density. When you let others see before it's set, their touch leaves fingerprints that distort the form. You think feedback sharpens you, but often it slows you down. The mind becomes self-conscious, measuring effort through imagined judgment. Creation demands purity, a private alignment between intent and execution. Protect that alignment fiercely. A seed cannot grow under inspection. It needs dirt, time, and solitude. Let the roots form before showing the leaves. Once it takes shape, no amount of opinion can uproot it. Premature praise is poison. It gives the illusion of arrival before the work has truly begun. The dopamine hit of being seen tricks your brain into thinking the mission is complete. You begin to crave the applause more than the process. It's the same trap that ruins potential. Early recognition dulls hunger. The mind starts working to maintain perception instead of refining substance. That's how precision dies. When validation replaces vision, momentum evaporates. The best builders know how to stay invisible until their craft is undeniable. They understand that the satisfaction of being underestimated is far greater than the fleeting high of early applause. Exposure adds friction. Each person who knows your progress adds a layer of expectation. Suddenly, your effort feels observed. You begin adjusting to their gaze, editing your authenticity to match what they hope to see. In trying to meet their image of you, you lose your own. Work thrives in obscurity because it is free from distortion. You move faster without the drag of interpretation. People cannot interrupt what they cannot access. That is why the most dangerous creators, entrepreneurs, and thinkers all move quietly in the beginning. They don't hide from competition, they hide from contamination. Silence sharpens the blade. When you build without commentary, focus compresses. You start to see details that would be invisible under noise. Every hour becomes heavier, more deliberate. This is how skill compounds. You don't need feedback when you're still learning the fundamentals. You need repetition. Every distraction, every opinion delays mastery. Keep your focus inside the circle of execution. Let the world believe you're idle while you work relentlessly in private. By the time they notice, it's too late for them to interfere. The work is finished, the precision hardened, the momentum irreversible. Fragile progress must be treated like flame. Too much wind, and it dies; too little, and it suffocates. The art lies in guarding it while feeding it. You give it oxygen through effort, not exposure. When you talk about what you're doing, the brain releases reward chemicals prematurely. The satisfaction leaks before the goal is reached. Protect your chemistry by protecting your progress. Silence keeps your fire internal. When you finally reveal what you've built, it won't need defending. It will speak for itself, forged by the pressure of isolation, not inflated by the air of attention. Every great invention, every empire, every transformation begins in obscurity. The early stages of momentum are sacred. They belong to you alone. This is where faith is tested. You must trust the invisible work before it has any proof. Those who need applause too soon never build anything lasting. They crumble under commentary. But those who learn to move in the shadows develop resilience that attention can't break. When you hide your progress, you aren't avoiding the world. You're preparing to face it on your terms. Momentum grows in silence because that's where belief becomes unbreakable. Patience is the guardian of momentum. You must resist the urge to display your progress. In a culture obsessed with performance, restraint feels unnatural, but restraint is what separates the transient from the timeless. The early stages of mastery require privacy to fail, to adjust, to refine without interruption. Those mistakes are sacred. The world does not deserve to witness them. Only once the process becomes instinct, once the vision has crystallized, do you emerge. The reveal feels sudden to everyone else, but to you, it's the natural conclusion of relentless, unseen consistency.